Hello everyone and welcome to the DeHart House podcast. My name is Alicia. You can find me on Ravelry as AlittyKnitsToo and on Instagram as ReadKnitRun. We also have a Ravelry group for the podcast called the DeHart House Podcast Group, where you can find all of the show notes for this episode, as well as any knit-alongs and question and answer threads. If you are a new viewer, welcome to the podcast. I'm so glad you found this channel. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back and for subscribing. So today is Thursday, April 25th of 2019, and this is episode 60. 60, wow. That's awesome. So, I cleaned my craft room again. What happens is my craft room becomes the room that stuff gets thrown into and becomes a big pile of papers and yarn and clothes and things that need to be put away until one day I get really sick of it and then have to clean it, everything. So today was that day I cleaned my craft room. So instead of being in front of the wall of yarn, which I'm in front of a different wall of yarn, but yes, I'm usually in front of my shelves that have full skeins of yarn tucked into them. Today I'm over in front of this scrappy wall of yarn. So I don't have any announcements to start off this episode. We did finish the DeHart House sock knit along, so if you did participate and you're wondering if you're a winner, please go back and watch episode 59. Right at the beginning, I do announce the winners of the pattern prizes. And if you're a winner, I give you instructions on what to do in episode 59. So let's move into knitting content. So I did finish something this week. So I'll start off with finished objects. I did finish one thing, and that was spinning, actually. So I have an empty drop spindle, which it doesn't stay empty long, so it is nice to admire it. So I'll talk about the spindle here in a little bit, but I want to show you the spinning that I finished. So I have been spinning this gray merino for a shamefully long time, and it's been a shamefully long time because I haven't been actively spinning this the whole time it's been on the spindle. So it's mostly just been sitting there staring at me like, hello, spin me already. So I did finally finish this ounce of gray merino that I've been wanting to finish. So it's all plied and it's been washed, it's been hung to dry, and it fluffed up really nicely, and I just love it. So I purchased this fiber at DFW Fiber Fest last year in 2018, and I purchased this from the Mohair and More booth. I did purchase 4 ounces, so this is 1 ounce. Previously, I had already spun 1 ounce. So I am now halfway through that purchase. So yeah. And I think I did a pretty good job, you guys, of maintaining consistency. And I can't wait to knit with this. Oh my goodness. So yes, I have 2 ounces of yarn right here, which is about 50 grams. I don't know what my yardage is. I have no clue, but I do have this awesome wraps per inch tool from McKinney Knittery. that I plan to use to figure out what kind of yarn I have here. So I picked up this tool at this year's DFW Fiber Fest 2019. And it is a wraps per inch, so there's a little 1-inch notch at the top to wrap your yarn around. And then it tells you how many wraps for each weight, and also has these really nice, they're not really grooves, like they're slightly grooved, but it's mostly textured. And I'm assuming those widths are matching the width of that weight of yarn. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know. To me, this looks somewhere between a fingering weight and a DK. So honestly, look, in between fingering and DK is sport. So I bet that this is sport weight. But I won't know until I use my wraps per inch tool. So I'll do that. Anyway, I'm so proud of myself because I set a goal to finish that second ounce of fiber by the end of April, and it's the 25th and I'm finished. So yay, I'm so excited. So I told you the fiber was merino, and it is a gray color, and I purchased this from Mohair and More. So then the tool that I use to spin this fiber is a Turkish drop spindle, and I purchased this from Jerry Brock Woodworks, also at last year's DFW Fiber Fest 2018. And so this is just, I love it. It spins super well. I did purchase the larger drop spindle. She had 2 sizes last year, a small and a large, and I purchased the large. And yes, I bought the design with moon phases on it. So yeah, it's just super. I just think this is really clever, this design. And I also really appreciate that she put the weight of the spindle right here on the bottom. Isn't that awesome? So yeah. Anyway, let's see if I can figure this out. So what I am going to do, since I have 2 ounces of this particular fiber left, is I'm going to separate that into 2 separate ounces and try to get through the rest of it again. So, yeah. But I did not want to start that before showing you guys the empty drop spindle and to show off this beautiful woodworking that Jerry Brock has done. So, yeah. To continue on that, I did chain ply this fiber. So when I purchased the Turkish drop spindle from Jerry Brock, part of the reason, actually a big part of the reason that I purchased this is because she had done this wonderful demonstration on chain plying your yarn while spinning it, which is amazing. So when I took this yarn off of the drop spindle, it was already plied, and all I had to do was skein it up and wash it, and it's ready to go. And in fact, I could have skipped skeining it up and washing it. I could have just knit it right from the ball, but I didn't want to because I'm still deciding what I want to knit out of it. But anyway, so yeah, this is all chain plied. So it is a 3-ply yarn, and I am going to continue to do that method so I can get nice consistent skeins to use in hopefully one big project. I'm thinking a shawl, since it is 100% merino, and it's this beautiful gray color. I think it would be a really nice shawl. So I'm going to start this probably tomorrow, to be honest, but I'm really excited about it. So I'm halfway through this batch of fiber. If you've been watching episodes 59 and 58, yeah, I have fiber I need to get through. So and using a drop spindle is probably the slowest way to do it, but I get to practice my drafting and plying and getting used to actually spinning yarn. So it's really fun. It's really fun. So that was my only finished object, was spinning. And now I have some works in progress to share with you. So I have been knitting this pair of shorty socks since April 4th, when DFW Fiber Fest was happening. And I totally goofed on the sock and knit it too small. So I used 60 stitches with a US size 0 needle. And if I'm going to use a US size 0 needle, I really need to do 64 stitches. So yeah, I couldn't put the sock on. It was awful. So I knit the second sock with 64 stitches, and it fits wonderfully. It is on the sock blocker, and I'm working on the third sock. I'm re-knitting the first sock. So let me just show you, I took a little bit of video of me. So I knit this first sock. I had woven in all the ends. It was a completely finished sock, and then I realized it was too small. So I took a little video of me starting to rip out the sock, and I will put that in right here. So yeah, I had to find the end and figure out how to undo Kitchener stitch, which wasn't too bad once it got going. The difficult part was getting it going. But anyway, I successfully have been ripping out my oopsie sock and immediately knitting it into the correct size sock. So this has been really interesting because I'm not working from a ball, I'm working from a sock, which is super cannibalistic, but whatever. So, you know what? I think I could knit from a sock blank because that's pretty much what this is. You can see the yarn has a little bit of crinkle in it from being knit up. But yeah, so like I said, I had used 60 stitches over here. Didn't fit. So I'm using 64 stitches over here. And yeah, I'm really curious how far this is going to get me. So I'm still working on the foot of the sock. I haven't made it to the toe decreases yet. I have completely ripped out the foot of this sock as well as the heel. So I just have the few rows of the leg and then the 10 rounds of ribbing left to rip out. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see where it gets me. I will say it is knitting from a project rather than knitting from a nice fresh ball of yarn. My work is a little crinkly, like especially right here. The yarn is just not, like it doesn't just lay nicely flat. It's hard to see on the camera, but in person it looks bumpy. It doesn't look like a nice flat stockinette stitch surface. So I think that these socks I'll definitely want to give them a good soak and then put them on the sock blockers to try to even that out. But I think they're going to be just fine. I mean, it mostly looks nice. There's just some spots where it looks kind of just uneven. It doesn't look clean. So yeah. But they're socks. They're going on my feet, so it'll be fine. But yeah, so I've still been carrying around the ball of yarn with me because I know eventually I'm going to run out of yarn on that sock and have to pull this in to finish off the new sock. But yeah, so I'm pretty excited. Like I said, I'm still working on the foot and I haven't made it to the toe yet, but I am knitting these on US size 0 needles, 64 stitches. I'm making some nice shorty socks. So I did 10 rounds of ribbing and 10 rounds in stockinette for the leg, short row heel, stockinette for the foot, and then I'll just do a standard toe, and that'll be it. So this is the third/second sock. Third sock total, but second sock in the correct size. So the yarn is from Desert Vista Dye Works. And I'm just going to grab the ball to show you. So the yarn is from Desert Vista Dye Works, and the colorway is Dry Bones Gray. So it's mostly gray, speckled with some pink and some green. And I think it's really pretty. But to be honest, I need a break from this yarn because of the whole sock fiasco. So I totally intend to knit more shorty socks out of this yarn. In fact, I would love to just have like 4 socks come out of this ball. That would be amazing. But since I messed up and knit the wrong size, I'm thinking I'm gonna need a little bit of a break before I start another pair of socks out of this yarn. And then there was a shawl. So this has seen the most of my time this week. This is a shawl design that I'm working on, and I've made a lot of progress, a lot. So I'm using 2 balls of yarn, one in a speckle, one in a solid, and let me just show you, I don't have much left, which means the end is in sight, which is super exciting. So the speckled yarn is Lucky 13 Fibers in the purple gray speckle colorway, and the solid purple is Cascade Heritage in color number 5633. So these 2 colors play really nicely together, if I can get them on the camera. So I'm trying to figure out where to pick this up so I don't drop all the stitches. So I was on this section last time I showed this to you, last week. So I've knit all of this week, and since it is a triangle shawl, the rows are really long. So, yep. The rows are over 200 stitches now, but it's going to be a nice, really big, cozy shawl, which is something I love. Oh man, yeah. I'm trying to be careful not to drop the stitches. So I think I'll be able to do one more of these slip stitch sections, and then possibly have enough yarn to finish in some garter stitch, but we will see. I am keeping the yarn scale next to me while I work on the shawl, and so I'll do a few rounds, weigh the yarn, see how much I've been using, and how much I have left. So I think I'll be able to manage that, but we shall see. So I'm hoping to have this finished for the next episode, but I don't know, I can't make any promises. I might get my sweater mojo back and start working on those. So yeah, I'm just loving this knit. It's a lot of the sections are repeated, so it's pretty the instructions are pretty straightforward. It's like a 4-row repeat, and it's pretty easy to read your knitting once you get the pattern established. So I'm mostly just working on this while we watch TV and watch movies. So yeah, this has gotten a lot of progress, and I'm really excited about it. And then I decided to cast on something new. Yeah. So, like I said, I was getting a little tired of the socks. Partially because I messed up, and it was frustrating, and I can't believe that I did that. And just being annoyed. So, I did cast on something new, and yeah, it's just funny. Okay, so I am using Knit Picks palette yarn, and what are my colors? We've got Finley Heather is this light color, and then I can't remember the name of this dark one. I think it's Garnet Heather, because it's Garnet Heather, because it has a little bit of red in it, which you can't see on the camera, but anyway, so yes, I'm doing color work. Knit Picks palette yarn is, at first, the first time I felt it, I thought, ooh, that's not soft, but it is. It's just a little toothy, but after knitting with it and after it gets washed and everything, I love it. So this is, the yarn is 100% Peruvian Highland wool, and Knit Picks palette yarn comes in 50-gram balls. Yep, okay, anyway. So, which I really like these discs. I want to call them discs, but just knit straight from them, and they're so pretty. Anyway, let me show you. So I got far enough along with my project that I don't have any needles on it. It's not finished, but I did start a pair of mittens for my husband, and if he doesn't like them, then I'll keep them and we'll figure out a different design for him. But yeah, so this design idea came to me quite a while ago, and I sketched up the chart for it, and it's just been sitting on my shelf waiting for me to remember that it was there. So let me just go ahead and show you. Yeah. Do you see a theme going on here? Like, okay. Yes, it's moon phases. It's more moon phases. Anyway, yeah, so I thought it was very appropriate to have a dark background and have the moon be in this heathered gray colorway, and I just think it's so cool. I have not washed this. I think it needs a little bit of blocking because my stitches are not the most even thing in the world in the moons. I did have to carry my floats a little bit, but I really wanted the moon, the moon phases, so I really like it. I do have the thumb stitches on waste yarn, so I need to finish the thumb. And then on the back side, we have this really nice, I want to say plaid. It's almost like a plaid pattern, but oh my gosh, even just that for a mitten. Like, I think my dad would like that. And my mom. Oh, mittens for the family for Christmas. Okay, anyway. So I'm wearing my rings, and I don't want to catch the yarn, so I'm just going to put this mitten on the wrong hand and have it backwards. But yeah, the last pair of mittens that I knit, I didn't like how short they were, so I did make the cuff, an inch or two longer. I think I probably doubled the cuff from the other pair of mittens that I made, which I really like because it can tuck into your coat much more easily. And I do the thumb coming off the side. Like I said, I put it on backwards. The moons should really be back here, but you get what's going on. Excuse me. So yeah, the lines coming up the side here. I do need to get a little bit better about tensioning that yarn because this is a little bit gapped up around here. So I did notice that about here, and it starts flattening out, but just tensioning things that I need to pay attention to. I really like that the thumb just, sticks out on its own with a separate pattern. I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, so I'm excited to finish these. So this is as far as I've gotten. I did have a yard sale last weekend, and right? Yeah, we had a yard sale last weekend during Easter, and so I worked on these a little bit while sitting out at the yard sale waiting for people to come buy my stuff, and that was fun. It did get a little bit warm on Saturday, so there was quite a while where I did not knit because my hands were balmy. When it gets warm and holding yarn, yarn is warm, so when my hands get sweaty, it makes it really cumbersome to knit, so I don't. But Anyway, I really enjoyed knitting these, and I think they look even better than what I had imagined. Walk over the webcam, Ladybug, I dare you. Nope, she's not gonna do it. Okay. So that's all I have for knitting content. Like I said, I really want to finish that shawl. I really do. It is definitely too warm to wear any kind of knitwear. I was going to wear a shawl for the podcast today, but you guys, it's 80 something degrees outside, Fahrenheit. And we had 90-degree weather last weekend when we had our yard sale. And it's supposed to be 90 degrees again this weekend during the mud run. So, I don't know. And, yeah, was it yesterday? No, the day before we had thunderstorms. And we didn't get hail, but they got hail in Midland. We just got rained on here in Big Spring. And it was cold, as in 50 degrees. And cloudy, and I thought it was beautiful. Obviously not walking weather, but it was still really pretty. And yeah, I don't know. It's spring. It's just going to be 90 degrees and sunny one day and 50 degrees and rainy another day. And we just have to live with it and get through it. So my poor air conditioner, though, is already working. Anyway. Yeah, so that's all I have for this episode, you guys. I don't really have much else to talk about. We are in the last few weeks of the semester. I do teach for a living. And, so we're in the last few weeks of the semester, which is crunch time. So we're all getting ready for final exams and graduation and turning in grade books and getting ready for the summer session. And so that's what I've been doing mostly with my free time, other than knitting, obviously. So yeah, it's that time of the year, and it's always the beginning of the semester is a whirlwind. And then the end of the semester is a whirlwind, because I got to get everyone set up at the beginning, and then I've got to get everyone finished up at the end. So, yeah, it's been crazy. So that's what I've been doing, and cleaning and packing and having yard sales and doing all those things. So, yeah. So, happy crafting, and I will see you guys next week in episode 61. Bye!